I think we can all agree that without power-ups, Mario Kart just wouldn't be the same. And even though a lot of these power-ups are frustrating and kind of annoying sometimes, it really makes Mario Kart the chaotic game that it is. So today I've decided to rank all 23 of the power-ups in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe from worst to best. And yes, I'm still including the cape feather, even though you could only use this power-up in the battle mode. I'll be ranking these items on how unique they are, how helpful they are in a race, and how fun they are to use. So sit back, relax, and let's get right into it. My least favourite power-up is the cape feather. What's interesting about this power-up is that it's the only one that can't be used in a normal race. It can only be obtained during a battle. And guess what? It's pretty much useless. All it does is bounce you up and give you a little speed boost. What's the point? Thank goodness that this isn't in the proper races, because that would be a waste of an item box. Next up is the coin. No one likes this. Don't get me wrong, I'm fine with the fact that there's coins lying around on the track for you to pick up, that's great. But the fact that they added it as a power-up is completely stupid. In my opinion, the worst part about the coin is the fact that you mainly get them in first place. First place is a really dangerous place to be at because there'll be red shells and blue shells coming at you left, right and centre. So you're definitely going to want bananas or green shells to protect yourself. So if you get a coin, well, you're in a lot of trouble. This is just a bad item. On to the next one. Next up is the Blooper. And don't get me wrong, I think that this power-up is pretty cool. What it does is, all the players in front of you will have a blooper come up onto their screen and squirt some ink, blocking their vision. Except, well, it doesn't really do that much. I remember in Mario Kart Wii that the blooper was so annoying and it covered up most of the screen, making it really hard to see what was up ahead. But in this game it doesn't really bother me at all. And using this item on computer players doesn't do anything because, you know, they're computer players. Overall, a pretty fun and interesting power-up that just needs to be a little bit better. Next up we have the interesting Boomerang Flower. What's special about the Boomerang Flower is that you can throw it to a maximum of 3 times, and every time you throw it, it goes up ahead and then it comes right back to you, just like a boomerang. Now you're probably thinking, wow, you get to use it 3 times? It must be really accurate. No, it might just be me, but I find this item impossible to hit with. And to make matters worse, I barely ever get this power up. It's probably one of the rarest ones in the game, and I don't really know why. What I do like about this power up though is the fact that you can hit more than one person when you're throwing it. Honestly, not a bad idea for a power up, I just don't really like it that much. At number 19 we have the Piranha Plant. When you use the Piranha Plant item, a Piranha Plant appears in front of your cart and starts biting around viciously at everything in front of you. It can collect coins for you, it can bite other players to slow them down, but the best part about it is, it gives you a speed boost every time it bites. Even if it just bites the air, you still get a small speed boost from it. Unfortunately, this speed boost isn't really enough to take shortcuts, but it's still useful. But I'm sure the Piranha Plant would be more useful if I actually got it sometimes. I can't remember the last time I used this power up. Luckily, the Piranha Plant lasts for quite a while before it disappears. And if there's a group of racers in front of you, then you're pretty much guaranteed to hit somebody. Honestly, a pretty decent power up that can do some major damage if used properly. Now we have the classic Banana Peel. This power up has gotten so famous that it pretty much just represents Mario Kart at this point. If you've ever played a Mario Kart game before, then you probably know what the Banana Peel does. The basic way to use it is to throw it behind you or throw it in front of you, and if any unfortunate players manage to slip up on it, it's going to slow them down quite a bit. If you're very good at Mario Kart, then you're going to be seeing this item quite a lot, as the Banana Peel is one of the main items you get in first place. And for a good reason. Because in the newer games, you can actually hold the Banana Peel behind you to stop red shells from attacking you. Which is really useful, and it's taught me not just to drop banana peels whenever I want. You should keep one behind you just in case. But anyway, it's a pretty decent power up, and you should definitely hang on to one if you're in first place. Up next we have the green shell. The banana and the green shell are both pretty similar, but I feel that the green shell is just a tiny bit better. Just like the banana peel, you mainly get the green shell whilst you're in first place, and you can also hold it behind you for some defense. But instead of just placing the green shell down like a banana peel, you can actually throw it in front or behind. And whilst the green shell isn't that accurate, it's pretty satisfying to hit someone with it. But honestly, the banana peel is pretty much just as good as the green shell. Up next is the Boo. The Boo is a brand new power up that was added in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and it's got quite a cool idea. As soon as you activate the Boo, a Boo appears and tries to steal another opponent's power up. And also, while the Boo is looking for another power up, you're actually invisible, making it a lot harder for people to see you and attack you. The only problem with this power up is, sometimes you can get a good power up from somebody, other times it can be terrible. It's kinda just luck. But overall, I really enjoy the idea of this, and sometimes it can really work in your favour. But on to the next power up, which is the Fire Flower. The Fire Flower allows you to throw tons of fireballs in front or behind, and if it hits an opponent, it's going to slow them down. What I like about this power up is its accuracy. If you could only throw one fireball, you'd have problems, but the fact that you can throw millions of them and they all bounce around the walls makes it pretty easy to attack people with it. But if you get this power up, use it wisely, because it's yet another one of those power ups that I don't see that often, so you definitely need to make the most of it. Keep in mind that the Fire Flower doesn't slow enemies down that much, but the fact that you can hit them a bunch of times kinda makes up for it. At first I didn't really care for this power up, but the more I used it, the more I found out how epic it is. The triple bananas are a very cool power up. As soon as you use it, 3 banana peels will automatically circle around you. And the best part about this is that if an opponent bumps into you, they'll get hit with the banana. Of course, that banana will disappear, but it's helpful for people that are trying to catch up to you. But if you want, you can just throw all 3 of them or drop them all behind you. But it's completely up to you what you want to do with them, which I like a lot. Just beating the triple bananas are the triple green shells. The triple green shells, or triple greens for short, act quite similar to the triple bananas in the fact that 3 green shells start to circle around your cart, and of course any opponents that hit it are going to get slowed down. But having the power of 3 green shells makes hitting opponents a lot easier. Especially if you throw all 3 of them at the same time, they'll all bounce around the walls and it'll be quite hectic for the person that you're aiming at. And once again, the choice is yours. You can keep the green shells around you for defense, or you can engage a full-on attack against other players. It's completely up to you. But once again, the triple greens are just a tiny little bit better than the triple bananas. But they're both pretty good. On to the next power up. For me, the Bob-omb was love at first explosion. The first time I threw this bad boy, I knew that I was going to love it. Even though the Bob-omb is quite a recent power up, it still feels like a classic, and it's really fun to use. The Bob-omb's kind of like a banana peel that blows up. You can throw it in front or behind, and as soon as a player touches it, the area around the Bob-omb just turns into a massive explosion, and it looks so cool, and it's pretty easy to hit with. This power-up is so cool that they even made a new game mode for it, Bob-omb Blast, which I personally think is a very good game mode, even if some other people would disagree. So if you get a Bob-omb, make the most of it because it can pack a punch. Just missing the top 10 is the soul-crushing, friendship-ruining, game-breaking Blue Shell. This power-up is well known for being annoying, and I must admit, I have had a few temper tantrums after being hit by it. When you activate the Blue Shell, a ball of blue death races across the track until it reaches the person that's in first place, and then blows them up basically. Being hit by a blue shell in first place can completely change whether you win the race or lose it. It seriously puts the power in power up. Luckily, there are special tricks that you can use to escape the blue shell. And they also introduced a brand new power up in this game, which we'll get onto later, that can actually just destroy a blue shell before it hits you. I'm just glad it's not as hard as it used to be, because it would make me rage on Mario Kart Wii. And now we are on to the top 10. This is going to get interesting. At number 10, we have the Mushroom. Overall, the Mushroom is a very good power-up. Not only do you get it around 3rd place, but it can be used to cut serious corners, which could lead you to victory. In a nutshell, the Mushroom is used to get a small speed boost, But since you can boost over grass without slowing down, it can be used to cut corners in tracks, and sometimes it can make a huge difference. In some tracks, there are special shortcuts called mushroom shortcuts, specifically there for you to practice your mushroom skills. So as long as you know what to do with it, the mushroom is a pretty epic power up. At number 9 we have the almighty red shell. The red shell is like a green shell that follows the person in front of you like a freaking homing missile. This thing literally destroys people in first place. If you don't have a defending item, then you are so screwed. There are some instances where the red shell doesn't quite make it to the target, but that doesn't happen very often, making the red shell a very, very powerful item. If it wasn't for bananas and green shells, then the red shell would dominate the entire race. At number 8 we have the Crazy 8. The main purpose of this power up is just to mix up a race and make it a little bit more interesting. And trust me, it's called Crazy 8 for a reason. When you activate this power up, 8 different power ups will circle around you, and it's just complete madness. Personally, I do not like this power up because of how little you get it and how much of a catastrophe it can cause. I just think this item's a little bit too hard to use, but if you're into chaos then this is the power up for you. But on to number 7, which is the star. The star is a very useful power up. Not only does it make you faster, but it also makes you invincible and you can cut through corners just like a mushroom. And even though all of this is pretty epic, sometimes the star goes too fast for my liking and I can't actually control myself and I bump into walls. But if you're on a track with loads of mushroom shortcuts, then get ready for a fun time. And seriously, there are some points where the star is going to be very, very useful to you, so keep hold of one and use one when it feels just right. At number 6 we have the Super Horn. This is another power up that was introduced in this game, and I'm so glad that it was. The main use of the Super Horn is to get rid of those pesky blue shells. And even though it's kind of rare, you get it enough times for you to like it. They also destroy shells, and if there's any players around you, then you can hit them with it. But don't waste this power up. You'll regret using it when you get hit with a blue shell 10 seconds later. At number 5 we have the triple red shells. If you thought one red shell was good, then let me introduce you to these bad boys. Since there's 3 of these red shells, that gives you the opportunity to hit 3 different players or 1 player 3 times if you're a bully. And I can honestly say it's one of the most powerful power ups I have ever seen. I definitely wouldn't suggest throwing all 3 of these at one person at the same time, because if they get hit by one of them, then they'll have invincibility frames, making the other 2 useless. Just know, with great power comes great responsibility. At number 4 we have the triple mushrooms. The triple mushrooms can be used in so many different ways. You can use them all at the same time to get a speed boost, you can take a few mushroom shortcuts every now and then, but my favourite thing to do is to find ultra shortcuts. Ultra shortcuts are very large shortcuts that need more than just one mushroom to pull off. And whilst there isn't that many of them in the game, if you find a track that has one, you know what to do. But seriously, these 3 mushrooms have so much potential, it is unreal. At number 3 is another mushroom, the golden mushroom. The golden mushroom is perfect for catching up to everyone if you've fallen behind in a race. To use the golden mushroom properly, you have to keep on pressing the item button over and over again and you'll keep on getting tons of speed boosts. As long as you stay in control and don't bounce off any walls, then the golden mushroom is going to be your best friend. Some of the most insane ultra shortcuts have been pulled off with this bad boy, so make sure that you use it properly. Coming in second place is the lightning bolt. The lightning bolt is used when you need to catch up with the rest of the racers, probably in 12th place or 11th place or somewhere around there. And what it does is a lightning bolt strikes every player that's in front of you, shrinking them down, making them smaller, and making them lose all the power-ups that they had on them. This power-up is just insane, and it can really help you catch up to the rest of the racers, so it does its job very well. I'll admit it can be very annoying to lose your power-up to a lightning bolt, but it helps balance out the game, so who am I to complain? It just feels so awesome to use this power up, it makes you feel like you're a god or something. But now on to number 1. Have you ever just had the urge to soar through a racetrack, destroying anyone that touches you? Well, let me introduce you to number 1, the Bullet Bill. I'm sure a lot of you saw this coming because the Bullet Bill is such a fun power up to use. When you use this power up, you transform into a giant bullet bill soaring through the track and making anyone that you touch spin out of control. This is probably the most OP power up of them all, and it's helped me so many times when I've fallen behind the other racers, but then I managed to catch up thanks to the work of the Bullet Bill. It's got to be the most satisfying power up out of them all, and that's why it's number 1 on my list. Well, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed watching it as I enjoyed making it. Make sure to comment down below what your favourite power up is in this game, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.